I'm back again. I was just here. Okay, so this one is personal questions on triggers. So it should hopefully be easier and less all over the place, but let's be real, I doubt it. Okay, so the first question. How do friends or family know that I've been triggered? I cuss them the fuck out. Um, it's different depending on what's going on and who triggered me, I guess. Um, and it also depends what I'm being triggered about. I could be triggered on my murdered brother by anything at all. Murders on TV, anything, and I'll just get quiet. Maybe I'll get up and get a beer. Um, Things that make me sad, I get quiet. I don't talk about things when I get sad. I just like to think about it for a minute. A real trigger, which is basically, for me, maybe not every borderline, but a lot of them, a trigger would be something that, anything that makes me insecure, jealous, hurt, betrayed, criticized, left out, uncomfortable, put second, anything like that. I get furious. I seem like a fucking devil child. Not most people know that. I'm sure people just think I'm irrational. It doesn't happen like with my friends really or anything like that. Basically just loved ones, family, maybe like best friends on occasion depending on the situation, and definitely people that I'm dating. And I've only had like maybe 2 people that I've dated actually pay attention to my borderline. So it's not something really that anyone just knows. It takes a long time of getting to know me and me opening up and saying, hey, when I act like this, it's because I really feel like this. And this is how I really feel, except I act like this. So, for instance, sometimes, not so much anymore, but previously, someone that I was dating, if they would go out with, they would spend all their time with me, and then randomly, as we would drift apart and start fighting, they would go out, or if we just had like lots of boring nights in, and then they'd all of a sudden go out with all their friends to the bar and like whatever, and I'd be like, okay, cool, bye. Because I would feel replaceable, and I would feel like when they're at their funnest and they're like laughing and the life of the party, it's when they're not with me. You know what I mean? So, and that's not exactly normal. It's not abnormal. I'm sure everybody feels like that at times or has felt like that, but it's when you're borderline, it's because you're hypersensitive. You feel rejection. You feel everything. I read once something about we lack emotional skin and we feel everything like third-degree burns. And that really stuck with me because it's so on point. Like, we're not fucking crazy. We're very hypersensitive to everything, and it's not just bad things. I think the thing that makes us look crazy, is our reaction, and that's why it's such an important step to want to change, because you can't change until you really look inside yourself and you can see what it is you want to change about you. And so what makes us look crazy is, before we get to that step, is our reactions are all fucked up, because we never learned what to do with our emotions. We were emotionally stunted in growth, and so when we're hurt, criticized, anything, we just lock up and we get in defense mode. because we had to protect ourselves. So it's just what happens. And once you start recovering, you learn, okay, that's not okay, and you start being able to really label what it is you're feeling. Like in my other video where I talk about how I try and slow down my reactions, because I'll write it down and be like, okay, I'm actually feeling this, and this is why. Like, when I am like, fuck you, like, no, you don't fucking get it, it's blah blah blah, you did this, and I'll be like, don't fucking talk to me, and I'll freak out. And I push and I push and I push and I push. Like, as soon as I'm triggered really big like that, I push. And that's my goal, is just get them the fuck away from me, bye. When in reality, I finally started learning to, why do I see a hair on my head? I started learning to slow down, because I'd be like, first of all, when I was pushing somebody away, I didn't actually want them to go anywhere. I wanted them to be like, no, stop, like, what's wrong? Because I couldn't be like, something's wrong, I'm sad, like, no, this is really hurting my feelings. And I finally realized, okay, I need to do that for myself. I need to be able to slow down and say, whoa, alright, so this is what I feel and why. Okay, anyways, I just spent like 7 minutes on one question, so I'm going to try it. But they would know, because I would react usually out of anger. That's how you'll know. If I'm triggered, you'll know. Because I'm a really, really, like, super calm and giggly person, unless I'm triggered, pretty much. And then I'm not sure who I am, actually. How should a non communicate with a triggered borderline? Again, I can only speak personally. So, when I am triggered, what would work for me? I need somebody really calm. And it depends on what I'm triggered with, too. But more than likely, I would need somebody who can be there until I'm ready to talk. Just don't leave. Like, sometimes, because like I said, when I'm triggered, and I'll be like, fuck you, like, bye, like, whatever. And I used to, like, I would fight or whatever, and my main goal was, like, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. But I just want you to get away from me so I can sit in silence with my thoughts, pretty much. So what I need is somebody who, but then if you leave, then I'm like, then I don't feel good, because I have to work myself up enough so much to make you leave, that, like, I'll do what it takes to make you leave, you know? So then I'm just getting more and more and more aggressive and angry, when in reality, I'm only making you leave so I can be with my thoughts. So I think the best way to handle somebody when they're triggered is, again, it's personal, because some people might be triggered so much that, like, they demand you leave, or, like, they'll fucking leave, or, like, whatever. So I can't exactly help you in all situations, but for me, somebody who can, who can, I don't know, maybe go sit in the other room then. Like, just go upstairs, or just go outside, but still just be there. And once I'm alone with my thoughts, then I can just take a minute. Also, that's one of the best ways. Sometimes I'll be freaking out too much, so I mean, eventually you'll learn why they're triggered. So you'll be able to say, listen, I understand that this just made you feel like this. What can I do to reassure you? Sometimes we just need reassurance, or we just need something, like, explained really detail by detail. And sometimes that's one of the triggers, is not just needing reassurance, but we need details. We need to know why everything's going to be okay and like whatever. We need calmness. The best way to communicate with somebody that's triggered is a really, really level head. Very open mind. Because if we're in healing, then like I said, one of our steps is to be able to put ourselves in your shoes, to turn the tables so we can understand what it's like to deal with what you're dealing with. So in order to deal with the triggered, you need to just, you need to be the one to be able to say, okay, deep breath, this can easily be worked through, but right now it's going to be a very, very touch and go thing. Again, if you need me to be more elaborate, comment, message, and you gotta give me like certain situations, you know, to give like specific advice. But the last question was, am I aware that I've been triggered? Yes. Yeah. Maybe in my teenage years, or like when I was like growing into it, my borderline started probably at like 22, 23, and 24. Yeah, 22 and 23. I got it. I figured out about it, and it went from there. And I think one of my reasons for seeking therapy was because I understood. I understood that there was things about me that I wanted to change. That I understood my reactions weren't necessarily okay all the time, and I didn't understand why. Because the thing about me is I'm very aware of the world around me. So I'm aware of how I want to be and who I want to be, and I knew that for some reason I wasn't that person when it came to emotional situations, and I couldn't control it. And that didn't make sense to me because it almost made me feel possessed. Like I literally I didn't know what borderline was, and to me, I was like, okay, this is who I want to be, and this is who I think I am. Yet all of a sudden, I'm a fucking monster, and like, I was so unpredictable, and like I didn't know those were triggers, so I just thought my behavior was fucking uncontrollable, and I didn't understand, and I hated it, and I didn't understand my downs, and I didn't understand anything about me. But then I did start to know when I would be triggered. I did know that, and now I still do. Some of the times it'll be too intense of a trigger where I'll get worked up, and if I feel like when something triggers me and I'm bringing it up to somebody and I'm like, no, and I have a point and it's a good point, if they argue it or like turn it around into something else or like whatever, that triggers me more and it like freaks me out. So that's what's horrible. And it's not always a situation or like with a person that understands that you're triggered, so you can't always just stop the situation and slow it down. But for the most part, if I'm triggered now, I know I'm being triggered, so I like to be like, alright, I need to not talk right now. I'm getting emotional, so I need to not right now, and I can back away, and I can take time to gather my thoughts, gather what I feel, and explain myself calmly. And I need to do that. I need to continuously step back every time a trigger happens or like my emotions start getting up. I need to say, okay, wait, and go. And I constantly know when even sometimes when I'm talking and I'm like, alright, stop saying what you're saying right now because I don't like it. And I constantly have to remind myself, I constantly have to slow myself down, and that's what it is. It's a constant. Retraining yourself. So yeah, I do know when I'm triggered. I've actually had a lot of comments recently, which I very much appreciate, and I love hearing. Somebody called me introspective and said that I will do well, which was a really nice comment. And somebody else had just said, I think it was in a message, something about I'm very self-aware, and I don't know if everybody is like that. I know for me, I always knew that there was something not right. I knew it. Like, I could tell the difference between me and other people since I was like really young. And um I think that that's both something that's really good for me and something really dangerous at times, but I'm very aware of myself. And even though that makes me my biggest enemy, it also is the only thing that gives me a chance. So I hope I answered some of your questions good enough. And yeah, messages, comments, I read them all. Remember, you're human, and you're beautiful.